Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. Yes, indeed, it is the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. And just ahead, we talk to Ron Luellen, professor and director of the Shelby Automotive Program at Northeast Texas Community College. I got to drive the 2023 GMC Canyon. It's all new, you know.
Yeah.
This is a complete redo, and it's nice. I'll give you my thoughts on it. Konrad has the cruise-in calendar and This Week in Auto History. And later, we'll bring you the stories making automotive news this week. Just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Konrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. Go Astros. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us. And I teased that we were going to have news at the back of the hour. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to start off with that.
There we go.
And Ron's standing by, and we're going to get to him in just a second. But I wanted to give you the very latest that I have on the UAW strike via Automotive News. UAW President Shawn Fain on Friday cited a major breakthrough with General Motors over compensation for workers at electric vehicle battery plants in choosing not to order more workers onto the picket lines for the first time since the work stoppage began 3 weeks ago. Fain, in his weekly Friday broadcast on Facebook, said GM had agreed to put the battery plants under its master agreement, which would change the future of our union and the future of our industry.
Shocking.
Workers at GM's Ultium Cells plants in Ohio, the first of 4 U.S. battery-making locations it's planning, currently receive lower pay than assembly workers. It was not clear how GM would put battery plants under the master agreement. Master agreement, whatever that is. Most battery plants are being operated by joint ventures with other companies and cannot legally be part of the Detroit 3 negotiations. UAW and GM did not immediately respond to a request for comment by Automotive News. Fain said the achievement justifies the union's strategy to strike the Detroit 3. The UAW had planned to strike GM's hugely profitable full-size plant in Arlington, Texas, had the company not made the last-minute concession, he said.
And that's a moneymaker.
Yeah, big money.
And the master plan is actually the contract.
I understand.
Yeah.
But
that covers everybody equally.
Yeah.
So Fain said GM's move made its offer leapfrog the pack, but also noted progress at Ford and Stellantis. About 25,000 UAW members across the Detroit 3 are on strike. Automakers have laid off roughly 4,000 additional workers because of production disruptions. Strikers are eligible for $500 a week from the UAW Strike Fund after 8 days off work, while the union has said it would also pay laid-off workers the equivalent of strike pay. So that's the very latest on that. All right.
You know, we're an automotive show. Maybe we should be part of that contract. You think?
No. No.
If we go on strike, will anybody care?
No, not at all.
They'll probably applaud.
Yeah, I was going to say, there may be a few people. We got a few comments out there on YouTube about our discussion of the UAW strike.
Oh, and how we're all wrong and we're worthless and blah,
yeah,
blah,
but
blah.
we've invited them to come on the show. Have any of them contacted you?
No, because they're not on parole.
Because I didn't invite them.
And none of them are on parole.
Cowards.
If you would like to get on the show, all you got to do is just send us an email, info@inwheeltime.com. I'm not either for or against it. I don't really am not a union kind of guy, but that doesn't mean anything.
No, and I don't think we've taken a stance either side. I think it's just some of the comments and some of the guests that we've had on that are, professors and study those supply side chains, the supply chain to see how things are going to impact other things. It seems to be where most of the comments
well,
are.
And in today's society, when you disagree with somebody, you have to try and destroy them as opposed to just have a calm conversation about people's differences.
We are the educated side of the discussion.
Ooh, thank you.
The educated
What
side.
he said.
Okay.
Well, I talked to a couple of friends of mine at Bowling Green, and they said, one of the key things to this is the 32-hour work week, because on a 32-hour work week, now you still work the same hours, but you get an additional 8 hours overtime at time and a half pay. So when your pay goes from $38 an hour to $50 an hour for the 40% increase that they're asking for, now your time and a half, your overtime pay is $75 an hour. And they said, that's a pretty key thing to them. And I'm like, yeah, but don't you think that's going to raise the price of a Corvette? The guy goes, who cares? People pay for a Corvette regardless.
Yeah, but
but some of the other comments though that I've heard is that it really won't raise the price of a car. It shouldn't raise the price of a car.
It won't raise the price.
Well, I
of a
mean,
car.
just logic is if it costs you more to build it, it's going to cost you more.
But what happens if you're not selling them? Then you don't get the overtime because you're not in production, you're not in assembly, you're not building them. So
yeah,
there's a catch-22 on that.
The other interesting thing, I've got a story later on, that apparently GM has the smallest number of cars on the car lots to buy right now.
Days supply.
Supply, as opposed to Stellantis and Ford. As a matter of fact, Stellantis is swelling with cars on their lines.
I see Honda's virtually empty, Nissan's virtually empty, where my travels go back and forth. Not a lot of cars.
Yeah.
Now,
for those dealers.
particular
And that's
manufacturers.
been the case with Honda for a while, because when we went through the pandemic.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Remember when we all drove out to
Baytown,
and that Honda store was absolutely empty. Except
they
for
didn't even have used cars.
Except for, I think they were having the employees park their cars out front.
Yeah, they were.
So
Make it look
they
like
had-
somebody was
had
there.
Something, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll continue that discussion throughout today's show. Right now, we're going to turn our attention to our first guest. His name is Ron Luellen. He's the Northeast Texas Community College professor and director of the Shelby Automotive Program. Ron, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. How you fellas doing?
Well, we're doing great, and thanks so much for joining us. I know that you wanted to sleep in this morning, probably till noon, but that ain't happening.
I'm a 7 o'clock in the morning guy every morning.
Oh, okay.
my.
Worked out perfect.
That's the afternoon shift.
Pretty much for us old people. So I know that Mr. Mars had an order in what he wanted to talk to you about things up there and things that you've got going with your program. So,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Mars, we just turn it over to you and let you do your thing.
Well, I find it real interesting that this Shelby Automotive Program, the story behind how it came to be, and that kind of goes into the story you have about the last Shelby that you have there. It's in a museum of some sort. I saw the green one. That's what I saw.
Yeah, it's in a museum in Pittsburgh, Texas.
Pittsburgh, okay.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
Pittsburgh
Wait. Pittsburgh, Texas. Is something
Pittsburgh, Texas.
Where in the world is Pittsburgh, Texas?
Well, it's about 38 miles north of Tyler.
Okay.
Okay.
So it would be considered in the Arklatex.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got you. Not too many people use that term
No.
anymore, but I think it's really
The
good
Arklatex,
because
yeah.
it's right up there in Northeast Texas, up
Yeah.
there where oil was discovered. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's in a museum in Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh is like one of the bedroom communities is where Carroll was actually born. I mean, he lived there until he was 12 or 13 years old. That's his Texas roots. That's where he was actually born and raised through his childhood.
Okay. Well, that kind of makes a connection to the Northeast Texas, your community college there, how he was so involved, how he became so involved with it, and that one in particular.
Yeah, when Carroll started the program, it was just a few years before he passed away. And this story with this last Shelby is the car was bought and was to be restored by students. And a lot of the local shops in Mount Pleasant actually got involved in it. Of course, I mean, a show grade, restoration of a car done by students, you might not want to see that completely. So some of the local shops got involved with this with students' help. And this car was the last car purchased and owned and titled to Carroll Shelby that was a Shelby. So it's a 68 Shelby GT350, and it's an old Hertz car that was a Hertz rental car.
Oh, so it's got that even more added value.
Yeah. So
Because
and
it's so
it
rare.
was found in upstate New York, and Carroll actually knew the man that owned the car, and he bought the car and had it shipped down here to the school. And it was really rough when it got here, but there's a shop here, a body shop here in town, Hanson's Automotive in Mount Pleasant, that did all the paint and body work on it. They actually changed ownership. The two guys that were painters in the shop that did the restoration on the car actually bought the shop here about a year and a half ago, and we put the shop on display in their showroom for about 6 months. I mean, to give them some recognition for the work they've done on this project with
Sure.
this car.
Where is Northeast Texas Community College located?
It is the most unique situation for community college that you could imagine. It's out in farmlands, about 7 miles outside of Mount Pleasant, Texas, and about 6.5 to 7 miles from Pittsburgh, Texas. So it's out in a rural setting.
Well, what we call you're out in the sticks.
Yeah, we're out in the sticks. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Mars.
So that's kind of how the car got there and how he got involved. So it's the Shelby Foundation that established the program there at the college, and helps keep it going. So what all does the foundation, your automotive program, the Shelby Foundation, do there at the school?
Well, they write us a check every year for $50,000 to scholarship our students. They work out the connections with the Shelby, community to us or with us with other entities in the country, so that we've got connections with other shops to intern our students and to give us help. I mean, we get a lot of help from different places around the country. In that museum we're speaking of, there's another 68 convertible. It's a GT 500 KR, King of the Road, 427 side oiler. I mean, this car was restored by a place in Roaring Springs, Pennsylvania. The guy's name is Barry Smith, was real good friends with Carol. His shop that he has, it's a legendary GT in Roaring Springs, right outside of Altoona. They built 2 of these cars for us 2 years ago and donated them to the school. These cars have been appraised at about $250,000 a piece. We're fixing to put one of these things on the auction block at Barrett-Jackson in February this year.
Why?
We're bringing that car out to SEMA to give one more shot to the Ford fanatics at SEMA before we put this thing on the auction block.
Why are you selling it?
Well, I mean, the whole idea of this, him donating the cars to us, we're getting recognition for the Shelby name brand, especially the shop like his, the first gen rebuilders of these cars, and they want to put money into scholarship money for these kids to help them. We want to try to perpetuate the scholarship thing we've got going on for these kids.
How many students do you have?
All right, so this year the numbers are up. We've got about 70 students this year.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Students, so.
Up from normally, what's the normal attendance?
I'm sorry?
What is the normal attendance? It's up from what number?
Well, I mean, it fluctuates. I mean, anywhere from 50 to like 60, but we're actually, I'm really, surprised this year. I've been teaching for 21 years this year, and this is the first time I've ever seen this in 2-year program. We've actually got more sophomores come back this year for a second year than we have freshmen incoming this year. It never happens. So, I've got to give kudos to my first year instructor, Zach Strawbridge. I mean, he did a really good job of motivating these kids to want to come back and finish a degree or a 2-year certificate.
Do you have any kids from the Houston area?
No, so I'm sorry, not at this time. We don't.
That's a shame.
But maybe we will now that we're on your show.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what is the plan after graduation for your students? Do you have, is there a career path that they're intending to follow, or are they just going to go into the general population of automotive technicians?
Well, we try our best to place these kids. I mean, my best intern at that shop in Altoona that we spoke of. I've got interns that go to every summer. I send an internship class of either 2 to 6 to Shelby American in Las Vegas.
Okay.
I've got another shop in Dallas-Fort Worth area, Classic Recreations. We send 2 to 4 kids there every summer too.
So it's a lot more. It's a lot more than just sitting there working on cars there. You've got opportunities that go beyond your facility there.
And do your students, when they graduate, do they understand not just the restoration process of classic cars, but do they also understand the uniqueness of the Shelby product at, in 67, here were the engines that were available. Here's what the differences of the nomenclature meant as far as between GT350 and
GT500. Yes, sir.
500.
So here's the uniqueness about us offering the scholarship money to them. We actually give them a class coming in on the history of Shelby and his business, and they have to write an essay and explain to us, the life and the history and the story of Carroll Shelby before they can receive any of this money from the Shelby Foundation.
Wow.
Very good. So they got to qualify. So before we run out of time, we wanted to kind of shift gears. You've got an event coming up next weekend, a dyno day, as part of an open house that you're having there on the campus if anybody wants to come and check things out. But you're also going to add an EV program there.
Yes, sir. So the building was finished this last summer. I mean, we're really fortunate with that EV building. It's a completely conditioned building. It's about, I think, about 40,000 square feet. It's pretty good size.
I was going to say, that's
it's
good.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're setting this up now. We're in the process of doing a repower on a 79 Cobra. We've got a 66 first gen that's in the whole shop for a repower. We've got all the stuff from Legacy EV in Arizona to do that conversion on it. So that's how we're teaching this to these kids, is we're repowering these older cars so they can, install all these components, motors, motor controllers, inverters, and all into these cars, so they kind of get a better idea, I think, of how these things are put together and how they work.
Which is definitely
showcase that building with this open house. And we've got an in-ground chassis dyno. It's a DynoJet dyno.
okay.
And we do this at least once or sometimes twice a year. We bring in, the local Texas hot rodders to come in, and we put in a viewing area that's got a big screen TV, like a 65-inch screen TV. And we set up a stadium seating. So we bring these cars in, the kids strap these things down, and we have like a peeing contest on who can get the best numbers.
Hey, you don't try to blow up any diesels, do you? I think that's a lot of
We do
it.
run some diesels, and we've had some pretty high-performance Dodge Cummins on this thing. I think I've seen one making almost 880 horsepower on it.
Jeez.
You know what? We need an intern.
We need an
we got
intern.
Sue's.
We have the Sue's down here. She's taking a nap right now, but I'm thinking that I'm absolute. Get us going on one of those interns.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we'd love to send somebody down there. I mean, I've got several kids that are real personable.
It's like a
That'd
jail
be real
sentence.
good fit for
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be just like jail time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Community service.
All right. So tell us. So it's next weekend is the
It's
event.
next Saturday. It runs from 9 to probably about 4. We've got it scheduled at 2. But when you're lining these cars up to pull them on this dyno, I mean, we usually do anywhere from 30 to 35 cars on a day.
Gotcha. Are you full of reservations already?
No, we're not taking reservations. It's a first
Come, first serve.
I see. Okay. Well, so
Send some video to Mike.
I was going to say a little trip up there to. Let's see. If we leave here about 5 o'clock in the morning, we should make it up there easy and plenty of time for your 9 o'clock start.
Yes, sir. We'd love to have some of you folks from down there. That'd be great. I think I've got a couple from the San Antonio area, the Shelby club there, that have already committed, but I haven't heard back from your local club there. Any of those guys have committed.
Oh, have
Randy
Ron
Weldon.
Yeah, Randy.
Yeah.
What's going on, bud?
Yeah, exactly. So, Randy, we'll put you in touch with Ron here, and maybe you could have a contingent of Houston, Texas folks go up there.
We could enroll Randy into his class.
There you go.
There you go.
Ron, it's great to talk to you, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us today. Great info
Thank you,
there in
guys.
the Shelby Automotive Program at Northeast Texas Community College.
Thank you guys for having me back. I'd love to come on anytime you guys want, man.
What an exciting program you have.
Yeah, we're all excited about it. So
Yep.
Thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon. Good luck next weekend.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
You bet.
You get some of those conversions done. It may be interesting to get maybe we could take a little tour of that new shop and see some of this work they're doing.
Exactly.
Well, and they seem not just the relationship with Shelby, but they seem to be a little bit on the cutting edge of where hot rodding is going, because they're doing what he calls the repower. And there's a lot of builders out there that are adding EVs to classic cars.
Well, he's covering both sides of the fence because he's got the classic hot rods. He's got the Shelby. Now he's introducing the program for EVs. So that's great. That's
Hopefully he's not taking like a real GT350 and turning it into an EV. Hopefully it's just kind of like a Mustang that
He'd
looks like a
wind up the Huntsville State Penitentiary real quick.
Yeah,
if he
the
did
Shelby
that.
people, the purists, would be pretty unhappy with that.
I think that they would be. Okay, Mr. Mars, you did a good job there.
Well, thank you.
Well, Well, you know,
Blind
You
hog
get to
finds
keep
an
your
acre
job.
once in a while.
squirrel
You're
finds
being
a
re-
nut every once in a while.
You're being replaced with an intern.
Yeah. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for the cruise-in calendar.
Right.
That's the cruise-in calendar, not the events calendar.
Cruise-in calendar. So the D&M True Value in West Montgomery is going to have a car meetup, and they start at 6 p.m. And that's a free cruise-in
Tonight?
tonight. Also, the Car Church at the Segundo Coffee Lab.
Car Church.
Car Church at 711 Milby in Houston. That's 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. tomorrow. Clutch Bar Meet, 5334 Washington Avenue in Houston. That's 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. today. The Turbo Tuesday Twin Peaks Meet at Lewis Henna Boulevard in Round Rock is 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. today. Park and Pizza at Mod Pizza at 5102 FM 1463 in Katy, Texas. The Park and Chill at Bahama Mamas at 9116 Grand Parkway in Tomball is 6 to 9 p.m. And then the car show at Grace Church in the Grace Woodlands is 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Thank you, sir.
And that's today.
Okay. Time now for this hour's car review. I got to drive the 2023 GMC Canyon. And I forgot to put the available trim levels here, but of course we had the top of the line as always. The four-wheel drive AT4X crew cab. This is what is considered a small truck. It's not. It's
it's a
mid-size.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not much smaller than the trucks of old.
No.
5 passengers, including the driver. Exterior changes from last model year. It's a complete redesign for 2023. And boy, did GM do a great job on that.
Yeah, they did a mid-cycle refresh on that, and it's beautiful. They really changed the look of the truck.
Exterior features. Probably, in my opinion, today, it would get the best looking award. Bulging fenders, big tires with a serious grill.
It's a truck.
It's a man's truck.
Yeah, it's a manly man.
Skid plate up front with red tow hooks, black lower valance, handy storage in the lowered tailgate. Did you see that? It's a unique feature that I've never seen before. Because, tailgates generally don't have anything in them.
Yeah, they're hollow.
They're hollow. So why not use that little hollow space? So when you lower the tailgate up toward the actual bed of the truck on the tailgate, there is a compartment that runs the entire width of the tailgate. Open it up. You can put baseball gloves in there.
Wet
Work
gear,
gloves,
wet
chains,
shoes,
maybe some
things like that.
tools.
Yeah. It's not really thick. Don't get me wrong. It's a height requirement there that it's a.
But something different and unique.
It is. It's pretty cool, I thought. It does have a full-size spare under the bed, old school, but I like it. We don't have to call, AAA out to have them change the tire to
Put the Mini on.
Yeah, exactly. It has those bumper steps in the back like the big boys, like the big
Which
truck.
makes sense. Why was that not done in the 60s? Because it just makes sense. It was on the step sides, and that's why they were called step sides. But that little notch in the bumper is just almost genius for its
They had
simplicity.
it on the Avalanche.
I never
Right.
understood why they carried the step side bed into the modern era. It's old school. That's from way back at the beginning of trucks. That whole step side thing.
I think it was just to be different.
Style point
Yes,
or
but
something.
what a waste of space. It's a waste. Anyway, it's my feeling.
Wasted days and wasted nights.
What could use improvement on this? Nothing. Interior highlights. Awesome dash. Faux leather accents on the lower dash. Built-in infotainment screen, and that's a pet peeve of mine when they're not built in.
When they kind of extend out of the top and look
it's
kind of
like-
weird, like
yeah.
an add-on that the engineer
afterthought.
forgot to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome seating, both in look and support. They're comfortable and it works. Are you driving a new one?
Yes, I got
another one. I got another Canyon. Apparently, they've loaded up our supplier with Canyons.
The Canyon truck came in.
Yeah. So why did I get it? Because that was my question. Why did I get it? Why are you giving it to me another one? Oh, it's a different trim level. And it's amazing the difference in the trim levels between the one that I'm current. It doesn't have the X on it. The X signifies that it's really an off-roader. You know, dual shocks in the back. I mean, it's got all of the off-road stuff on it. This one is a mild street version of it. And it is definitely different. I'll tell you about that in my next report in a couple of weeks on this one that I'm driving now. Anyway, continuing on with this one. Awesome seating, as I said. 60-40 rear split seat. Bed is small, and it's the only one available. So don't think that you're going to get a 4x8 sheet of plywood back there, because this is not a full-size pickup truck. What I liked about it, passive phone charger, easy. It's all right there. You just throw your phone in there and boom, you're done. Because I had a vehicle here last week that I actually had to shove it in there and work it around because my phone was too big for the slot that it had.
Oh, good. Do you have a cover on your phone?
Yeah, and it was the cover.
Yeah.
Well, who doesn't have a cover on their phone? Don't tell me you don't.
Oh, I've got a cover on my phone.
What could use improvement? The instrumentation display is a little small for my tired old eyes that I have to squint and
not configurable like some of the other new ones are.
No, and the gas gauge is at about that big. See my finger? About that big. It's about three quarters of an inch long, and it's very hard to read. I couldn't tell when it was a quarter of a tank. So that could use improvement there. 2.7 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, 310 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque, 8-speed automatic transmission. It tows up to 6,000 pounds with a haul rating.
With the 4-cylinder turbo, 6,000 pounds? That's actually pretty good.
It is.
Because that's kind of the base engine in the full-size truck now, too.
Mm-hmm. Haul rating, 1,640 pounds. Miles per gallon, 16, 16, and 16. I got 17.4 over 309.2 miles. What I liked about it, plenty of power for a 4-banger. Who would have thunk? What could use improvement? Nothing. Ride and handling? Well, it's a truck, but the ride is more compliant than most trucks today.
Well, and
this is the off-road
version, so that's surprising. That
it has more travel
and those high-dollar shocks.
Big time. What could use improvement? I had to dream up something, so I said air ride suspension. I don't know why, but I can't think of anything else. Base trim, 55.5. That's the base trim price. Remember, this is the top of the line Canyon. Price is tested, 58,640.
Wow.
Base model price is 36,600. Competitors, its cousin, the Chevy Colorado, 29,200. Ford Ranger, 29,585, and the Toyota Tacoma, 29,430. And that's my review of the 2023 GMC Canyon.
Good looking
the In-Wheel
truck,
Time Car Talk show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com, and podcasts are available on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk show continues right after this quick break. The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Loopy Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Loopy Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Loopy Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Loopy Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Loopy's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Loopy Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Loopy Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants invite you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
Rogers Dab Chevrolet and GM Performance is proud to be a part of America's largest block party. It's the 27th annual Cruising the Coast, October 1st through the 8th. Great antique, classic, hot rod, and dragsters all along a 30-mile stretch of beach. Bay St. Louis, Biloxi, Gulfport, Ocean Springs, Pascagoula, and more. Rogers Dab Chevrolet and GM Performance will be on site October 5th through the 8th at the Mississippi Gulf Coast Coliseum, manning the Chevrolet trailer displays. Come see us for additional information at cruisingthecoast.com. Biggest race in the country. Also, Rogers Dab Chevrolet GM Performance is proud to be a part of the 10th annual Lone Star 600 at Devil's Bowl Speedway in Mesquite. October 6th and 7th, $25,000 to win. Any car can race and is locked into the race. 300 laps, both nights, 7 o'clock start times. Racers from all around the U.S. and beyond. Additional information at LoneStar600.com. Rogers Dab Chevrolet and GM Performance.
That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.